Misreading history is not the right title. You can't misread history until it's miswritten. And I think that the crucial thing here is the miswriting of history. Now, I say you can't misread it because where do you get your history? You get your history ultimately from written sources. You may get it at first hand, or you may hear stories from your parents or friends, something like that. But at some point, somebody wrote down the history. And history is structured according to master narratives. Master narratives are those things about history that have been repeated so often and so confidently with so little variation that they are taken to be true. And yet none of them are. Master narratives are the triumph of the historian. Everybody would like to invent the particular story that then gets told in every history book for the next 5,000 years. But the fact of the matter is that master narratives are invented by historians, and the more successful they are, the less people are inclined to question them. And yet they're continually being questioned. And they're being questioned in ways that are effective. So that, if I can give a very obvious example, if you read a history of Europe written before, let us say, 1950, you'll read the standard history of Europe minus the women. There were no women in Europe before 1950. Then you move along, and you get a generation of really formidably talented feminist scholars who are historians. They find the sources, they read the sources, they write the stories, they publish the stories. You cannot read a history of Europe now that is not teeming with women. We need this in the Middle East, frankly. But the fact of the matter is, someone has to do it. So we have rewritten the master narratives. So European history is now coeducational. European history is, I mean. History of my hometown, Rockford, Illinois, where I grew up in a Methodist household, just to set your mind at ease. In my hometown, I grew up, and I knew that there were two people who founded Rockford, Illinois. One was named Kent, and one was named Blake. I recently went to the homepage of my town, and I found out that three people founded Rockford: Kent, Blake, and the slave of one of them. And suddenly, black people appeared because that's a new master narrative. At one time, there were no black people in American history. Now there are. So when I talk about the idea of reshaping master narratives, I'm not talking about something that's purely fanciful. I'm talking about something that is the bread and butter of what historians strive to do.